I've been thinking a lot lately. I want the freedom to explore other connections, but I want to stay married.
When my wife asked me to sit down, her voice careful and low, I figured we were talking about bills, maybe vacation plans. But then she said she loved me and that she wanted complete honesty between us. My stomach clenched. Before I could even guess, she said it. She wanted freedom, but she didn't want to lose our marriage. She suggested seeing someone else openly. I just stared, waiting for the punchline, for her to laugh and say she was kidding, but she didn't. She said it would help her feel alive again, and she promised it wouldn't change how she felt about me. I found myself nodding slowly, my heart literally cracking inside my chest. I told her I needed time to think. That was the last night I slept in our bed. I moved to the guest room, but sleep was a stranger. I just lay there, replaying her words, the calm, practiced way she said them. By morning, something inside me had shifted, hardened. I realized this wasn't a negotiation. She had already decided. My opinion was just a formality, a decoration to make her feel better about it. In the days that followed, I became an actor. I was calm, collected. I listened more than I spoke, observing her, and I watched as a strange confidence bloomed in her. She talked about honesty and openness like it was some noble virtue, a shield to hide behind. While she was celebrating her newfound honesty, I was quietly preparing. It started with small things. Messages on her phone she forgot to hide, unexplained charges on our accounts. I started seeing a pattern, a timeline. Every discovery was a fresh stab of pain, but it also brought a strange clarity. The picture was becoming terrifyingly clear. I found a lawyer and spoke to him in secret. I needed to understand what was happening, what my rights were, what protection looked like. He laid it all out for me, and I started to feel a sliver of ground beneath my feet again. When she finally announced she was going away for a weekend with friends, I just nodded. The look of relief that washed over her face told me everything I needed to know. My silence was her green light. The moment she left, the house felt eerily peaceful. It was the first time I could breathe in weeks. I didn't waste any time. I packed my essentials, the things that truly mattered. I followed my lawyer's advice and took the necessary legal steps to separate myself from our shared life. On the kitchen table, where we'd shared thousands of meals, I left a single letter. It was short. I told her I knew everything. I told her that her idea of openness without my consent wasn't honesty, it was just a prettier word for betrayal. I ended by wishing her the clarity she was so desperately searching for. When she came home, she wasn't expecting an empty house. She was expecting a sad, compliant husband ready to forgive and accept her new terms. She found consequences instead. Her calls flooded my phone. Voicemails filled with confusion, then anger, then pleading. I answered only once. I told her very simply, I choose myself. She exploded, accused me of being vindictive, of seeking revenge. I told her it wasn't revenge. It was self-respect. The truth has a way of coming out. As our friends slowly learned what had really happened, the story changed. The sympathy they initially had for her brave attempt to save our marriage, began to shift. It shifted to me. And that person she was chasing, the one she risked everything for? He disappeared the moment things got complicated. Funny how that works. She came back, wanting to renegotiate, to reopen the conversation about our marriage. I declined, not with anger, but with a quiet finality. I told her trust isn't a door you can just reopen once you've slammed it shut. The paperwork moved forward without any drama. I poured all my energy into rebuilding. I created new routines. Waking up early, making coffee just for myself, going for long walks. The mornings started to feel less heavy, and the nights became quieter. I stopped compulsively checking my phone for her name. Weeks went by without a single dramatic episode. Then one evening, a long message arrived. It was an apology. A real one, it seemed. I read it carefully more than once, and I accepted it. But I didn't accept her back. I realized that forgiveness felt so much lighter than bitterness. Revenge was never the goal. Dignity was? I learned that love, real love, requires mutual boundaries, mutual respect. Freedom can't be a one-sided demand and consent. It matters in every single part of a relationship, especially a marriage. Walking away wasn't weakness, it was survival. And in the quiet aftermath, I found peace in the simplest things. The coffee I made for myself in the morning tasted better. The silence in my apartment stopped feeling empty and started feeling like peace. For the first time in a long time, I stopped questioning my own worth. Her choices, her actions, they no longer defined who I was. In the process of losing my marriage, I had somehow found myself again, and that felt incredible. I didn't win anything. There were no prizes, but I gained clarity, I gained calm, and best of all, I gained sleep. Everyone expected a dramatic, messy story full of screaming matches and throne plates. Mine was quiet, and quiet was more than enough. I closed that chapter of my life gently, and I never looked back. Some endings teach you more than beginnings ever could. This one taught me the profound value of self-respect. If I had to do it all over again, even knowing the pain it would cause, I would, especially knowing the peace that followed. My marriage ended, yes. But my life, my real life, had finally begun. And walking forward without bitterness, that was the best revenge of all. Thank you for listening.